Hi Virgo, it's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. I'm here for your March 2016 tarot reading. Thanks for joining me. So I'm going to pull 3 cards from the Shadowscapes Tarot for work, and then some cards for relationships, and then an overall oracle card. The coolest thing I just realized I have this Shadowscapes tarot deck app on my phone. And my only complaint about these cards is that they're so intricate that um, you can't really see the detail. I always say I need a magnifying glass. But look, if you get the app, you can do that and really see the detail. I mean, look at the details in these cards. It's amazing. And there's like faces in the trees, and it's just really amazing. So I would suggest getting this app if you like these cards, because then you can really actually see the amazing artwork. Okay, so I had to restart. So let's just jump in. I've only seen this card though. So the world in the work category, it's a very positive card. It does point to completion and new beginning, sort of all at the same time. Sort of the beginning of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So it could be that, a project you're working on is coming to an end and you get shift to a new project. You could get a new job. It could mean, being at the bottom deck, you really want a new job. You're ready for a new way of life, and work, a new career, something like that. The moon is in this card, so it could be something that sort of transpires around the full moon in March. If you're looking for some sort of timing. Now, this could be literally things like I just said, like a new project, something different at work, a change at work, or it could be an internal shift where you just decide that you're ready for something new, a new career, a new job. Something has sort of come full circle or come to a completion or gone as far as it's going to go, and you're ready for something new. So the first card out is the Ace of Swords. So that really points to an aha moment, a clear-cut direction to move into, new thoughts, new beginnings, where you are, you've cut away all sort of anything that's sort of been clouding things, or maybe you've just been in denial that you need to do something new about your career, but you didn't really know what. And this is that clarity of thought where you're like, you know what, I know where I'm going. I know what I want to do. I know where I'm moving towards. It may take a while to get there, but I see the path. I have the plan. I know where I'm going. Whoops. And there are butterflies in this, which is transformation. And there's also, the sort of the brightness, the aha moment, the enlightenment. Oh wow, this just came up for who did I just do? Cancer. Actually, I think the world and this card came up for Cancer. So I don't know if you have Cancer in your chart, you might want to check that out. Working in a cancer center, I have a problem, I just have to say, with the zodiac Cancer sign. It bothers me because I think of cancer as actual oncology as cancer. But okay, moving on. So this is newness, offers, opportunities. The classic is the hand holding up the pentacle, new thoughts and ideas in work and career. There's this owl in the picture. And so this owl, think about these types of, I think it's a raptor, these types of birds of prey, they fly very high and they have the amazing keen eyesight. So they get this big picture view, right? So they see the whole picture, but then they're able to focus in on exactly what they want, which would be this Ace of Swords here. So stepping back and sort of really looking at the big picture and taking steps towards this new cycle that you want to create. The Page of Pentacles is the first step, and Pentacles are slow moving, they're methodical, they're grounded. So this isn't something that's going to just happen overnight, but this could be something you've been thinking about or working on for a very long time that you're starting to actually put into action. But this isn't going to be something that immediately changes overnight. And wow, then we have the Four of Wands. This is a great energy. This means that you have built the strong foundation in which to launch your new idea. And this is all about stability. But it's interesting. This card also often comes up as the wedding card, which is funny because you would think that would be more in the realm of the cups, of the emotions. But it's similar to the world as well, because it's like rites of passage, I guess. And so in each, so the first thing, we'll use relationships as an example. Or well, let's use work because we're in the work category. So, you go to college and study to get skills for the career you want. And then, so you finish college. So that's a completion. You've built on your foundation. Then there's a new cycle. What are you going to do for a job? So maybe you get an entry level job, and then you work your way up. Then you get a promotion. Okay, so then that's a new step in your career, a new foundation, and you're building and building and building. So this tells me that you're going to continue to build on what you've been working towards in your work sector, in your career. Or you've built a strong enough foundation. Maybe you go out on your own. I mean, maybe that's what the Ace of Swords is. But you know where your next move is going to be, and something about this month, you're going to take action towards making that a reality. Okay, let's just keep moving right along. So I'm going to pull 3 cards from the Silver Witchcraft Tarot for relationships. I feel like that wants to come out too. Okay, at the bottom we have the Queen of Swords. So I think this queen kind of gets a bad rap. She's she's sometimes known as the divorced woman. Like, I always feel like it's like the divorced woman. Like, I don't know. Like, there's this negative connotation. I'm a divorced woman. I'm very happy. Sort of like alone and icy, the ice queen. But I don't really think that's the way. I think the swords kind of get a bad rap. I mean, she's really actually can be extremely charming and funny and witty. She's very smart, and that may be what happens because she is sort of more analytical and works from her brain as opposed to her heart, and maybe women are more associated with being, feeling and friendly, which, I guess I can see why that people, that association exists. But she's like very clever and funny. Like, she's just very intelligent, and she also gets a bad rap as being very cutting. But, that's a negative side of her. The positive side of her is she's actually has a real way with words. She's actually very diplomatic because she's just very smart, and she's constructive and thoughtful. She's the mind. The swords are the mind, in the way she delivers things and thinks about things. But it can point to using your head when it comes to relationships and not your heart, which is very handy. I mean, if you're in a in a relationship that isn't healthy, and sometimes our hearts keep us in places we shouldn't be, but it can also, instead of getting emotional in relationships, being real problem solving and thinking instead of reacting, more planning, which can sometimes create much better outcomes than just reacting emotionally. So I'm seeing for some of you that have been alone, you felt suspended, you felt out of touch. I the lesson of the Hanged Man is to, when you find yourselves in downtime, alone time, instead of focusing on I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone, I don't like this time of suspension, focusing on that you do have this alone time and this downtime, and use it. Think of that owl in the work reading to get a different perspective, to look at the big picture, just to sort of ponder, like use your time wisely and think about relationships. What are your thoughts about relationships? What are your thoughts about being alone? Do you have a negative connotation to that? What are your thoughts about being with someone? Why do you want to be with someone? Kind of all these bigger questions. Am I prepared for a relationship if one were to come along? What do I want out of a relationship? The Queen of Swords would probably make some lists. And really, because it may seem, again, unemotional and cold, but sometimes when you write down like what are your priorities in a relationship and what do you want, and if you really like write them down, you might be like, damn, that's what I want, or oh, I didn't realize that was important to me. And it may help you sort of recalibrate or rethink about your approach or thoughts to relationships in general. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. So this is a card about taking and giving and take and give. I said that backwards. Give and take. So what's coming to mind instantly is that thinking about what you want out of relationships is you want more give and take. Perhaps historically you've been a giver. And so that's really could be more of a heart-based way to be, which is wonderful, but there's a point where it needs to be reciprocated. If you're always the one giving, it's going to build up resentment and it's probably not a healthy relationship. So your inner Queen of Swords can be like, now wait a minute, there has to be both the give and the take, but are you allowing someone to give to you? That's the other side of this, because sometimes we feel guilty about receiving, right? We just want to give, give, give. That we have to make sure we allow someone to give to us and to receive that. I think men want to provide and women want to receive, but there are different ways we can do both and make it work to be complementary. I'm sorry, don't get too caught up on, I shouldn't even say genders, but your partners, to work together. But if you've historically been giving too much, make sure that you haven't been blocking and not been open to receiving for some reason. So I think this thoughtfulness that's coming from the Hanged Man and examining with your head how relationships have been for you in the past, your thoughts about relationships, your current relationships, it's going to bring about swift change. This is usually there are like 8 wands like coming right at this person, and it's kind of funny. I think some of us, if we have been alone, may meet someone, and even though we've wanted to meet some, we're kind of going to be like, oh crap, it's going to take us, it's going to feel too fast even if we wanted it. Excuse me. It's like, maybe I did want this, but it feels like it's happening so fast I didn't have time to process it. So try to be open to this new energy coming into your life, because this is generally a very positive card, but it does have swiftness to it. So sometimes it can feel a little unsettling. So just remember, be open to receiving it. What was this last card that wanted to come out? The Four of Pentacles. Yeah, okay, this makes sense. This goes back to what I was saying about the Six of Pentacles, about boundaries. This card for me it's often known as the Miser card, but I really look at it as a card about boundaries. Are your boundaries so strong that you shut everyone out? Or are they so loose that you allow people to walk all over you? And it's really difficult to find that balance in a relationship of where each other's boundaries are. Do you guys agree on the same boundaries? If you're in a partnership, does one person seem to have super strong boundaries but doesn't seem to respect yours? And how do you communicate those needs to the other person? The Queen of Swords energy is a great energy to call upon when you need to communicate in a relationship, because it doesn't come out of a place of emotions when you're angry or something. She's thought about it, and she's um, brings it up in a very constructive, practical sort of way. Okay, so I'm going to pull an overall card from the Earth Magic Oracle, I think it's called. Okay. Karma. DNA. So there's something about the internal shifts that are going on within you that is sort of, you're learning some karmic lessons. You're really bringing to surface some things that you've needed to work on, and those things coming full circle, and learning that um, it's not only your karmic lesson but other people's, and that the give and take and the working with other people is all part of not only your karmic destiny or experience but someone else's as well. For example, I did a reading for someone recently, and they were struggling with a relationship, and they were struggling with how to tell someone that it sort of wasn't working. And what came up in the reading was that, they wanted to be honest, but they didn't want to hurt the person's feelings, of course. But what came up was that, your lesson to learn is that, to speak up and not to stay in a relationship that isn't working out, that doesn't make sense. But also to remember that this is also that other person's lesson to learn, that maybe they jumped into the relationship way too fast and got too into it, and that they maybe needed to learn to not, to take their time and be slower about entering a relationship, because one, you need to get to know each other to be able to figure out if you're really a match. And you can also scare people away by being too intense and too, to overwhelm the person, and things like that. So we're not always living out just our karma, but other people have to learn their lessons too. And it's not really, it's kind of all part of that give and take that I was talking about. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have a lovely month, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.